Emotional burnout rarely announces itself with a dramatic collapse. It arrives quietly, gathering in the corners of your life, building itself out of exhaustion you keep ignoring. It shows up in the mornings you can't quite wake up from, the tasks that used to feel simple but now feel impossibly heavy, and the subtle sense that you're watching your life from a few feet outside your own body. Burnout isn't just being tired. It's the deep, internal depletion that happens when your emotional world has been carrying more weight than it was ever designed to hold. And because it builds slowly, many people don't even realize they're burned out until they no longer recognize the person they've become. Healing begins with understanding what burnout really is. So often, people interpret it as weakness, laziness, or failure. In reality, burnout is the moment your mind decides it can't protect you using your old strategies anymore. It's a warning, not a judgment. It's your body asking you to stop surviving on fumes and start tending to the parts of yourself you've been neglecting. The first step in healing is something deceptively simple: admitting that something in your life needs to change. Not because you're inadequate, but because you have been operating at emotional overdraft for too long. Instead of pushing through, you stop and say, "I'm exhausted. I need help. I need a pause." That admission opens a door. It shifts you from denial to awareness, and from awareness to possibility. Once you acknowledge burnout, the next phase of healing involves giving yourself space, real emotional space, to decompress. Burnout accumulates when stress or responsibility has nowhere to go. You've been absorbing it, storing it, swallowing it. Healing means letting that pressure move. Sometimes healing begins with stillness. Not the performative kind where you sit in silence but frantically scroll your phone, but genuine stillness. Letting your breath slow, allowing your nervous system to settle. Sitting quietly long enough to notice what your body has been trying to tell you for months. Other times, healing requires expression. Burnout thrives where things go unsaid. Whether that's unvoiced pain, swallowed disappointment, or the emotional labor you've carried in silence. Writing helps, speaking helps, creative outlets help. Even small, imperfect words begin to untangle what you've been holding. And sometimes, healing comes from boundaries. Protective, necessary boundaries that keep you from giving more than you have. Burnout is often the child of overcommitment. You said yes when you should have said no. You absorbed emotions that weren't yours. You carried responsibilities that weren't built for one person. Building boundaries doesn't make you unkind. It makes you honest. As the immediate pressure begins to ease, you eventually face a deeper kind of healing, rebuilding your relationship with yourself. Many people who burn out have a tendency to offer compassion to everyone except the person in the mirror. They forgive others quickly but judge themselves harshly. They push through pain but rush past their own needs. Recovery asks you to reverse that habit. It means speaking to yourself with gentleness instead of criticism. It means recognizing that you deserve the same patience you offer to others. It means giving yourself permission to rest before you reach your breaking point, not after. It means realizing that your humanity is not something you have to earn. A surprising part of healing from burnout is relearning joy. Not the big, bright joys that require energy you don't have, but the quiet, manageable ones. Warm tea, soft music, sunlight on your face, a show that asks nothing of you, a few minutes outdoors. When your mind has been running on survival for too long, happiness can feel distant or foreign. But tiny moments of comfort begin rewiring your nervous system. The body remembers safety slowly, and these small joys are the breadcrumbs that lead you back to yourself. The next turning point in healing arrives when you start to feel a little better. This is when many people relapse into old habits. The moment the exhaustion lifts slightly, they fill their schedule again, take on new commitments, or convince themselves they're fine now. But healing from burnout is not a return to your former pace. It's the creation of a new one. This stage asks you to be protective of your progress. You learn to move more slowly on purpose. You stop equating productivity with worth. You choose what matters and release what doesn't. You learn that you don't have to rescue everyone. You don't have to be everything. You don't have to prove yourself constantly. Another thing healing teaches is how to trust yourself again. Burnout often fractures that trust. You start doubting your decisions, your feelings, your instincts. You ask yourself, am I really tired or just unmotivated? Am I overwhelmed or being dramatic? Do I genuinely need rest, or am I avoiding things? The truth is, burnout makes everything feel blurry. With recovery, the sharpness returns. You start recognizing your emotional cues. You learn to honor early signs of overwhelm instead of bulldozing through them. You understand the difference between discomfort that leads to growth and discomfort that leads to collapse. As you heal, your intuition grows quieter and steadier, and you begin to trust that voice again. Healing also calls for letting others be part of your recovery. Many emotionally burned out people are the strong ones, the shoulders everyone leans on, the fixers, the problem solvers. Because of that, leaning on others may feel unnatural or even uncomfortable. But healing deepens when you allow yourself to be supported, even in small ways. Sometimes it's talking things through with someone who truly listens. Sometimes it's professional support. Sometimes it's simply letting someone else take on a task when you're drained. It's not dependence, it's connection. The opposite of burnout is not productivity, it's belonging. Over time, the healing process shifts from recovery to rebuilding. Instead of simply trying to feel better, you begin creating a life that prevents burnout from returning. You start asking yourself new kinds of questions. Does this responsibility belong to me? Is this pace sustainable? Does this environment support my well-being? Does this relationship drain me or nourish me? You begin designing your days around balance instead of pressure, around meaning instead of obligation. You choose slower mornings, cleaner boundaries, and work or relationships that respect your emotional bandwidth. You make decisions through the lens of long-term peace, not short-term approval. And then one day, almost quietly, the transformation becomes clear. You wake up and feel a soft sense of ease where panic used to be. You find yourself laughing at something simple. You notice that you're present again, in your body, in your breath, in your own life. The edges of the world look less sharp. The days feel less heavy. You feel less like a ghost in your own routine, and more like the person you were always meant to become. Burnout did not break you. It revealed where you were carrying too much for too long. It showed you the parts of your life that needed rearranging. It forced you to face the ways you've abandoned your own needs. Healing teaches you a new way of being, softer, steadier, kinder to yourself. It teaches you that you deserve a life you don't have to escape from. It teaches you that rest is not indulgence, it's maintenance. And most of all, it reminds you that you are human, beautifully and imperfectly human, and worthy of care long before you reach your limit.